Hey everyone, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Christmas sign, just a DIY. It's going to be really easy. Most of the things that I have here you can purchase, you can still purchase. I'm not real sure if you can still get this from the Dollar Tree or not, but that is where I got this. So I'm going to be making a sign to put in the center of my Christmas wreath that I'm making this year. And I just thought I'd do a quick tutorial here to show you guys how I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you guys what I'm doing. And I will be listing everything that I use down in the description box. So if you want to know how to do this, just check the description box and it'll give you a list of all the materials that I used. So the first thing that we're going to be using is this little sign that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It just says Mary, has the deer antler over here, and it's just plain wood sign. I think this is like MDF board or particle board or something, but anyway, I thought I'd make this to match my wreath, which I am making a red and black buffalo plaid wreath. So I'm going to be using some of this scrapbook paper that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and it was for $1. I did grab 3 of the larger print buffalo plaid and then 1 of the smaller print. I'm not 100% sure which print I'm going to be using just yet. I have to think about it. But I will let you know as soon as I figure out what I want. I'm also going to be using some of this apple barrel paint in the color black, and you can get this at Walmart. This was 50 cents. So anyway, oh, and I'm also going to be using some of the Mod Podge. I did pick this up from the Dollar Tree, and it's the matte Mod Podge. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is cut off the tag. There's that. And then I am going to be painting just the edges of the sign. I'm going to be painting the outside edges. And then I'm also going to try and get down in between here, in between the letters, and paint that also. And then obviously the bottom, and then up through here through the antlers and everything. So that is what I am going to start doing right now. And I'm probably only going to do 1 coat because it's really not that big of a deal, because I'm going to be Mod Podging some of this scrapbook paper on the sign. So but just to kind of cover up this wood, I thought I'd paint it. So I'm going to go ahead and just paint around the outside of this and the inside of the letters. I'm just going to go ahead and give it 1 coat, and then as soon as it dries, I will come back and show you guys what to do next. Okay, now that I have my sign painted on the edges and everything, I am going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the bigger print of the red and black buffalo plaid paper here. I'm just going to use the bigger piece, or the bigger pattern. And also, I wanted to let you guys know that I did cut off the jute twine hanger that was on the back of the sign. So what I'm going to do is just turn my paper over, and then I am going to trace. I'm going to go ahead and trace around my letters, and then I'm going to cut them out. And now, as you can see, this is not going to cover the whole entire sign, which is okay. I'll just go and use an extra piece of paper and try to line it up as best as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to trace around the letters here. It doesn't have to be exact. It's not going to be perfect. Just do the best that you can. I should probably use a smaller pen. Okay, so anyway, I'm sure you all get the gist of what I'm doing here. I am just tracing around the lettering, and then I'm going to go and cut it out. And as soon as I get that done, I will come back and I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, now I have it all cut out, all my letters cut out and everything. What I'm going to do is just add a layer of Mod Podge. And it's the Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree in the mat. And so all I'm going to do is put a layer of this on. I don't want it real thick. A little piece of something there. Okay, so now that we got the first layer on, you're just going to take your lettering and place it on. Now this does not have to be perfectly on there because when the decoupage or the Mod Podge dries, we are going to be sanding the edges to give it sort of a worn look. Trying to line this up as best as I can since I had to cut a separate section for that. So anyway, you just want to get this laid down and then kind of make sure you don't have any air bubbles or anything like that in there. And it's okay if you do, it's not a big deal. As you can see here, I've got air bubbles and it's fine. It just gives it more of that worn look. Okay. So I got this first layer on. Now I'm going to go back through with a second layer of Mod Podge on top. And as I'm doing this, I am going to just cover the whole entire thing with, you don't want a real thick layer, but a light layer of the Mod Podge. So I'm going to do this, and as soon as I get my this last layer of Mod Podge on and let it dry, I will come back and I will show you what the next step is going to be. Okay, so now that my paper is dry, I'm just going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to go along the edges and just kind of sand some of this down. I want it to have sort of a worn look. So I'm going to do this all the way around the edge. Might be easier to get a sander, but... And I know that some of this paper, I'm going to go ahead, it's going to come off of there, that's fine. I just wanted to make it look kind of worn. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to sand around the edges, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next step. Okay, so now that I've sanded it a little bit, I've started in with just kind of going around the edges with dry brushing some black paint on there. And all I'm doing is dipping my paintbrush into just a little bit of black paint. And then I'm trying to get, you know, some of the paint off, the excess paint off of my brush. And all I'm doing is just tapping it in. So I'm not getting as much on there. And I'm just barely going through and just kind of tapping on the edges a little bit. I don't want to paint it, you know, completely. I'm wanting this to look kind of old and worn out. So I'm just going through around the edges where I sanded it with my sandpaper and just giving it a little bit of dab, just dabbing on some of this black paint. You don't want it real thick. So I'm going through to do that. And you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just thought I'd try it and see what it'd look like. And I kind of like it, so I'm just going to go ahead and go through and kind of give it just a little bit of paint around the edges. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've got it all painted and everything, I'm just going to attach some of these pipe cleaners to the back so that I can attach the sign to my wreath. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just using 2 pipe cleaners, and you're going to fold your pipe cleaner in half. And then I'm going to be using my staple gun. You can use a hot glue gun if you prefer, but I want it to make sure it's not going to come off. So I am going to be using my staple gun. And I'm just going to turn my sign over here. And then I'm going to grab my pipe cleaners. And I'm going to find a place on my sign where I think I want to attach my pipe cleaner. So hopefully I can get this to work. It wasn't working earlier, so we shall see. I think I'm going to give it one more staple because I don't think that one's going to hold it very well. Let me get this up out of the way. I may have to make this a little stronger. Okay, that's good enough. And then all I'm going to do is kind of twist my pipe cleaner around so that it's sort of secure right there. All right, now I'm going to move on to the other one. I'm going to be investing in a different stapler. I want one of those power shots because they're easier on my hands. I have a little bit of arthritis in my hands, so it's kind of hard to push the stapler down. I can get this on there straight. There's one. And I think I'll do a second one. Okay. Not sure how well that's going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and just tighten that down a little bit. And that is how our sign came out, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you're not subscribed. I hope that you guys are all having a wonderful day. Make sure you stay tuned because I will be posting a wreath tutorial soon to go with this sign. Anyway, I hope that you all are having a good day. I wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!